Imagine a crucible, molten and merciless, where dreams are forged or incinerated. In its glow, some wilt like wax, their ambitions reduced to ash. Others emerge as titans, their will sharpened to a razor's edge. Why do some conquer life's inferno while others crumble? Success isn't a lottery or a gift from the gods. It's a brutal, beautiful battle won by those who dare to wield their fire. Step into this crucible with me. We'll shred the excuses of the ordinary and arm you with the secrets of the extraordinary. Will you burn out or blaze eternal? The heat is rising! Choose your fate! Warriors of ambition, step deeper into the crucible's searing heart, where the alchemy of success ignites not from grand gestures or golden opportunities, but from the raw, unyielding forge of your own mind. Why do some souls ascend to the pantheon of legends, their names etched in the stars of history, while others languish in the shadows of obscurity, their potential a flickering candle snuffed by the winds of doubt? The answer thunders like a war drum. It is mindset, that ironclad fortress, impervious to the siege engines of fear, failure, and fleeting distractions, transforming fragile mortals into unassailable monarchs who command their destiny with the ferocity of a storm unleashed. Envision the masses, those spectral hordes adrift in a perpetual fog of complacency, their days devoured by the siren scroll of social media illusions, curated lives of ease and excess that whisper sweet nothings of someday and if only. They awaken to alarms that toll like funeral bells, muttering incantations of inadequacy. I'm not smart enough, not connected enough, not lucky enough. Their minds are sieves, leaking resolve with every whisper of hesitation, every glance at the highlight reels of others' triumphs. But the victors? They rise not as supplicants to fate, but as sovereigns storming the gates of greatness. They roar with the primal fury of a lion claiming its pride. I am the storm. I am the architect of empires. Their mindset is no fragile eggshell. It is granite hewn from the quarries of conviction, where every thought is a hammer blow reshaping reality to their will. Let us summon a colossus from the annals of triumph to illuminate this truth. Beyonce Knowles Carter, the queen who didn't merely sing songs but orchestrated symphonies of self-empowerment, rising from the humid stages of Houston talent shows to a global dominion spanning music, film, and feminism. Born into a world that often dimmed the lights on black women in entertainment, she could have succumbed to the script of limitation, the rejections, the typecasting, the relentless gaze of critics. Instead, Beyoncé forged an unbreakable mindset, viewing every setback not as a sentence of defeat, but as a sacred chisel sculpting her into an icon. In her documentary Life is But a Dream, she reveals the mental marathons she ran, journaling doubts until they dissolved, affirming her worth like a daily decree, visualizing sold-out arenas before a single note echoed. This wasn't blind positivity. It was psychological warfare, a deliberate rewiring of neural pathways to favor growth over grievance. Science stands as our unyielding sentinel here, its torch cutting through the fog of folklore. Psychologist Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on the growth mindset, chronicled in her seminal work, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, demolishes the myth that talent is a static birthright doled out by capricious gods. No, Dweck's experiments, spanning decades and thousands of subjects from schoolchildren to CEOs, reveal that those who embrace challenges as opportunities for evolution, seeing effort as the path to mastery, outperform their fixed mindset counterparts by margins as vast as oceans. A 2019 study in psychological science quantified this ferocity. Individuals with growth mindsets not only achieved higher grades and promotions but persisted through obstacles 40% longer, their brains lighting up with dopamine rewards for struggle rather than surrender. The mediocre, shackled by fixed beliefs, treat intelligence as a finite pie. I'm just not a math person, and thus starve on crumbs. The mighty? They bake endless loaves, devouring feedback like ambrosia, questioning limits like inquisitors at a heresy trial. But knowledge unchained is mere wind. Mindset demands dominion through deliberate decree. This isn't the saccharine fluff of coffee mug mantras peddled by the self-help charlatans. It's a visceral alchemy, transmuting the lead of fear into the gold of fuel. Begin your forging today. Rise with the dawn and declare 3 affirmations not as whispers, but as war cries. I am resilient. I evolve through every trial. My potential is boundless. When doubt slithers in, dissect it like a surgeon. What evidence supports this lie? What action disproves it? Devour one book on mindset quarterly, Dweck's or Angela Duckworth's Grit, and journal its lessons into your life's ledger. Surround yourself with mirrors of might, podcasts of pioneers, communities of climbers, not cynics who clip wings with realism. Yet beware the siren of complacency. Mindset is a muscle that atrophies without assault. The elite assault it daily, turning mundane moments into mental melees. Commuting? Visualize your victory speech. Waiting in line? Rehearse rebuttals to rejection. A 2022 meta-analysis in Nature Reviews Psychology affirms, consistent mindset training boosts resilience by 25%, turning average achievers into outliers. Your mind is your first and fiercest battlefield. Hammer it into a weapon of wonder, or let it rust in the ruins of regret. The crucible's flames lick higher. Mindset is the bellows that fans them to inferno. Will you forge an unbreakable spirit, or fold like tinder in the blaze? The choice is yours. Seize the hammer, and strike true. From the crucible's molten core, where mindset sparks the flame, emerges discipline, the obsidian blade that cleaves the chains of chaos, carving paths of purpose from the wilderness of whim. Why do some harvest empires from barren soil while others sow seeds only to let weeds devour their dreams? It is discipline, that merciless marshal of the soul, which transforms the spark of intention into the supernova of sustained supremacy. The unsuccessful are voluptuaries, ensnared by the velvet vices of instant gratification, the endless scroll of TikTok tempests, the narcotic haze of Netflix nights, the siren song of just one more that stretches into lifetimes of languor. They awaken to a calendar of casualties, their ambitions autopsied by procrastination's scalpel, whispering alibis like lovers' lies. I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. Life got in the way. But the triumphant? They are not mere mortals. They are monastic warriors, ascetic orders sworn to the sacred code of routine, where every tick of the clock is a toll for their cause. Discipline isn't a fleeting fancy or a fair-weather friend. It is a guillotine, swift and unsparing, executing excuses before they can draw breath. Behold Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, that Herculean force who didn't stumble into Hollywood's heights or wrestling's pantheon by accident. From the gritty gyms of his youth, where poverty punched harder than any opponent, Johnson forged a disciplined diamond-hard, 4 a.m. awakenings, 7 days a week, his body a forge where iron met will. Meals measured to the milligram, workouts waged like wars, 3,000 sit-ups on lean days, yoga flows to temper the titan. In his book The Rock says, he chronicles the creed. Success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come. This wasn't masochism. It was mastery, a deliberate dominion over the baser self. Empirical evidence erects a monument to this truth, its pillars unyielding as granite. A landmark 2018 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, tracking over 1,000 professionals across a decade, unequivocally proclaims self-control, the beating heart of discipline, eclipses IQ, socioeconomic status, and even raw talent as the supreme soothsayer of success. Those with ironclad routines amassed 30% more wealth, climbed corporate ladders twice as swiftly, and reported fulfillment levels stratospheric compared to their impulsive kin. Enter James Clear, the high priest of habit in his manifesto Atomic Habits, who wields compound interest as a weapon. A mere 1% daily improvement, one extra rep, one more page devoured, one distraction banished, explodes exponentially. Over a year, it's not addition but multiplication, 37-fold growth, turning pebbles into peaks. Clear's framework is no esoteric elixir. It's engineering. Make good habits obvious, cues like a primed gym bag. Attractive, pair with rewards like post-workout podcasts. Easy, scale to stupidity simple starts. And satisfying, track streaks like a gambler's ledger. Yet discipline demands not just dawn patrols but dusk reckonings. Evening audits are your confessional. What served the siege? What sabotaged the strategy? Adjust without absolution. Iterate like an alchemist refining gold. Enlist enforcers, accountability partners who call out cowardice, apps that shame sloth with stark stats. Remember Jocko Willink, the Navy SEAL turned discipline demigod, whose 4:30 a.m. Instagram wake-ups aren't showmanship but sacrament. Discipline equals freedom. In the crucible's unrelenting roar, where temptations howl like hyenas, discipline is your shield and spear. Sharpen it daily, or be severed by the scythe of scattered days. The blade awaits your grip. Execute the ordinary, and etch the extraordinary into eternity. The crucible morphs now, its flames twisting into a labyrinthine weave where isolation is the deadliest snare. Enter networks, the silken strands of supremacy that bind solitary sparks into bonfires of boundless possibility. Why do some scale summits solo climbers only dream of? Their ascents accelerated by invisible elevators of influence, while others claw at cliffs alone, fingers bloodied by bootstraps that fray and fail. Networks are no lottery of serendipity. They are the deliberate web of power, spun with cunning and care, where alliances amplify ambitions into avalanches that reshape landscapes. The mediocre amass acquaintances like autumn leaves, brittle, beautiful in bulk, but worthless in winter's gale. They attend mixers as moths to flame, collecting cards like conquests, only to let them yellow in drawers, their connections congealing into cobwebs of neglect. The masterful, however, they are arachnid architects, weaving tapestries of trust and triumph that ensnare opportunities like flies in amber. No fortress falls without allies. No empire endures without envoys. Summon Oprah Winfrey, that phoenix from Mississippi's mire, who didn't claw to her media colossus on charisma alone. From a teenage anchor desk in Nashville, rejected and ridiculed, she cultivated a constellation of confederates, mentors like Maya Angelou, whose poetic fire fanned her fledgling flame, producers who became partners in her production powerhouse, visionaries like Steven Spielberg, whose collaborations catapulted her to silver screen sovereignty. Oprah's web wasn't happenstance. It was husbandry. Deliberate dinners where she listened like a confessor, gave counsel like a sage, and connected dots others deemed distant. In her masterclass series, she preaches the pact. You become who you surround yourself with. The people you spend time with not only influence your life but represent the potential of your own future. Lore and ledger align in affirmation. Dale Carnegie's eternal How to Win Friends and Influence People. A grimoire gilded with gold dust wisdom codifies the craft. Smile as a summons. Remember names like sacred runes. Make others feel luminous in your light. But we escalate to the empirical edifice. A 2021 Harvard Business Review analysis of 20 million LinkedIn interactions unveils the velvet verdict. Diverse, deep networks, spanning industries, ideologies, and identities, catalyze 2.5 times more innovations and 28% faster career leaps. Homogeneous hives stagnate. Heterogeneous hives hum with hybrid vigor, birthing breakthroughs from borrowed brilliance. Your Rolodex isn't a relic. It's rocket fuel. One introduction ignites investments, one referral raises barriers. One collaboration crowns you kingmaker. Forge your web with warrior's wit. Seek not sycophants who echo your ego, but catalysts who challenge and champion. The contrarian who critiques your code. The connector who bridges your blind spots. Attend not as attendee but as alchemist. Conferences become cauldrons where you trade treasures, your expertise for their Rolodex, your energy for their endorsements. Craft cold outreach like courtship letters. I admired your TED Talk on quantum leaps. Here's how my project parallels. Coffee to collaborate? LinkedIn luncheons, Twitter threads that tag titans, volunteer ventures in your field's vanguard. These are your loom's levers. Prune ruthlessly. Excise energy vampires, the takers who drain without deposit. Nurture the givers, the giants whose gravity pulls you planetary. A 2023 MIT Sloan Management Review study spotlights the strategy. Weak ties, casual contacts, spark serendipity, while strong ties, intimates, sustain sieges. Balance both. Nurture 5 core confidants for candid counsel. Cultivate 50 peripheral powerhouses for pivotal pivots. Host your own hive, mastermind meetups where ambitions are autopsied and amplified. In the crucible's coiling corridors where echoes of effort fade without amplification, networks are your lifeline and lightning rod. Weave wisely or wander lost in the labyrinth's loom. Your web awaits. Spin it vast, or be snared in solitude's silk. As the crucible's labyrinth yields to a vortex of vanquished hopes, resilience erupts, the phoenix flame that devours defeat, rising radiant from the pyre of what was to illuminate what will be. Why do some, lashed by life's leviathans, bankruptcies that beggar, betrayals that break, illnesses that invade, not merely endure but evolve into entities more exalted, their scars sequins in a crown of conquest? While others, deluged by the same deluges, dissolve into despair's depths, adrift on rafts of resentment? Resilience is no passive plume. It is the primal pulse of the phoenix, a ferocious rebirth that transmutes trauma into triumph, turning tempests into tailwinds that propel the resilient to realms the rigid can only rue. Witness J.K. Rowling. That sorceress spawned from sorrow's crucible, a single mother on welfare's ragged edge, her manuscript Harry Potter rebuffed by 12 publishers. Each rejection a raven croaking nevermore. Depression's dragon coiled around her. Yet Rowling didn't capitulate to the chasm. She alchemized it. In Edinburgh's cafes, amid the clamor of strangers, she penned potions of perseverance, channeling personal phantoms, lost love, financial freefall, into the wizarding world's wonders. Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life, she proclaimed in her 2008 Harvard commencement. That manuscript, forged in failure's fire, ignited a billion-dollar blaze birthing not just books but a belief system. Failure is life's great instructor, stripping illusions to reveal invincibility. The Academy anoints this axiom. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Psychology, surveying 5,000 professionals post-crisis, decrees resilience, that trinity of adaptation, optimism, and agency, as the alpha predictor of post-adversity ascent, surpassing socioeconomic shields by 35%. Angela Duckworth's grit gospel extends the edict. Perseverance, paired with passion, forges futures where talent alone treads water. The weak, ensnared by what psychologists term learned helplessness, replay reels of ruin. It always happens to me, a self-fulfilling dirge. The strong, they autopsy adversity like archaeologists unearthing artifacts. What worked? What wounded? What wisdom waits? Thomas Edison, that titan of tenacity, didn't mourn his 10,000 filament flops. He mythologized them. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Each extinction event was an experiment. Each error an elixir, refining his electric empire. Cultivate this flame through forge-worthy rites. Journal your jihad. Post setback. Pen 3 takeaways, 3 gratitudes, 3 next assaults. A 2019 Journal of Applied Psychology trial found this ritual rebounds recovery time by 40%, rewiring rumination into resolve. Meditate as a martial art. 10 minutes daily, breath as anchor, observing thoughts like clouds and carnage, apps like Headspace as your dojo. Seek scars solidarity. Mentors who've marched through similar maelstroms offer maps, not mirages, their tales turning your terror into template. Physical fortitude fuels the fire. Exercise is exorcism, pounding pavement to purge pain, building a body that bellows bend, but never break. Resilience revels in the rebound. Pivot with predatory grace. From startup sinkhole to side hustle phoenix, as Sarah Blakely did when her fax machine sales soured into Spanx's sweet success. A 2022 American psychologist synthesis stresses social sinews. Lean on legions, therapy tribes, support squads, to scaffold your soar. In the crucible cyclone, where winds whip wounds wide, resilience is your wings in wildfire. When felled, don't fester, dissect, defy, dominate. The phoenix calls. Will you rise from your rubble or rot in its remnants? Ignite the flame. Rebirth beckons. The crucible's final test. Legacy. Success isn't hoarded gold. It's a ripple that outlives you. The unsuccessful chase fleeting fame. The triumphant build ecosystems that endure. Legacy is the soul of success, etched not in bank accounts but in lives transformed. Bill Gates didn't stop at Microsoft. He pivoted to philanthropy, vaccinating millions. A 2019 Nature study found altruistic leaders inspire loyalty that echoes beyond their time. Mentor the hungry, fund the future, share your story. Your impact is your immortality. The elite don't just achieve, they amplify. Teach a class, launch a scholarship, Write words that wake the world. A 2022 MIT Sloan study shows giving back boosts personal success. Generosity is a boomerang. Plant seeds today. They'll grow into forests tomorrow. Your legacy is your war cry. What will you leave behind? A whisper or a roar? The crucible cools, but its lessons burn eternal. Forge your mindset, wield discipline, weave networks, rise resilient, and build a legacy that laughs at oblivion. Go forth, conqueror. The world awaits your echo.